And welcome to another episode, a special episode of What Do You Know with Joe. It's special for two reasons. One, it's for my brother's beer competition coming up, the one he created himself. We're doing a special episode for it because you guys got to go check this out. It's also special because this is the first episode, ladies and gentlemen, that is brought to you by the What Do You Know with Joe show and Sneakerhead Golf Company. Sneakerhead Golf makes some primo fresh gear. I got some on the way. I'm going to be rocking it on some episodes. It is choice, and they make some sweet golf head covers. I can't wait to show everyone. The promo code's out there right now. Go ahead and use Joe15. That's Joe, all caps 15. Get you 15% off your order. 15% is a great number. Anything, it's modest. It's great. So use 15%. Use Joe15 to get 15% off your order at Sneakerhead Golf Company. Very excited, but enough with that. It's enough with promos. Ant, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for being on.
Oh, yeah, of course. Glad to have you here. He looks great. You look like you've just been working in a brewery, and that's what you've been grinding. But we're having you on because you, my friend, are having a contest at work, and you guys are brewing each person's brewing their own beer. But before I kind of jump into that a little bit, tell us a little about your role at Old Busthead, a little bit about Old Busthead, and what kind of tell us about the promo and what's going on.
Yeah. First off, so I've been at Old Busthead for a little over 3 years now. Started as just a grunt guy, and then now worked my way up to cellar manager. As a cellar manager, that's just the traditional term for where production is, the cellar.
Right.
So along with brewing, I am more on the cold side now. So brewing is hot versus the cold is when it's in the fermenters and it's fermentating, making all that fun stuff. So my responsibility now is more of just making the day-to-day, looking at the operations of the fermenters, making sure everything is doing what it should, and from that point on, filtering, packaging, working with everyone on that aspect. So
making sure it's all good, making sure everything before people drink it, making sure everything the day-to-day ops. Okay, so tell us a little about the promotion, and tell us a little about the what's going on, what the contest kind of is, and then kind of tell us about your beer a little bit.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough. So we have two brewing systems. Our first system is a 30-barrel system. It's a big system. And then a couple years ago, we got a 7-barrel system, which is kind of like our experimental system. Cool. So we do a lot smaller batches with that. We have the luxury of, like I just said, experimenting, but also brewing beer a little bit cheaper than what we would use on a bigger system. And most of those recipes that we make on that system are strictly in-house. So we thought as a company, this would be a great vessel, no pun intended, to create a competition with it'll build morale, get everybody included, not just brewers, not just production crew. So last year the 3 brewers had teams along with not just in production, but front office stuff or personnel. Ike and Julia, our owners, were part of teams as well. My boss Jay, he's part of the judging panel, so he kind of just came up with all the rules and regulations and helped with recipe formulation. So last year was our first year. It was a huge hit. The 3 brewers decided to we got to choose any ingredients that we wanted to, any style that we wanted to, and work with our teams to come up with a recipe and something we thought would sell at Old Busthead. So last year I made a cream ale and Cosmo Creamer, if anyone has
shout out to Cosmo's Creamer.
Yeah. So it was a success, but we did not win. So we went up against like a super saison, a Belgian saison that was pretty high in alcohol, and Scottish ale. So Scottish ale won. Their beer name was We Kilt It, so it was fitting, So
tons of win sometimes.
Yeah. So this year is definitely hopefully successful with the trophy as well. So yeah, so at the end of the competition, there's a judging panel, and they will take what all three beers into accounts, to style, parameters that you would if you were to submit a beer to normal competition.
Gotcha.
So it will let's see. So my beer is a barley wine. Barley
Ooh,
Legal is the name,
nice.
courtesy of my wife Marissa. Yeah.
Love that.
Um.
Shouts out to Marissa.
So yeah. So so this year for this competition though, Jay, my boss, decided to put styles into a hat, and he decided to
Okay.
put English styles. So all three beers are English style beers.
Okay.
Um, don't know why his fascination were for English styles, but I
He's the
mean
boss.
they've been around forever. So yeah, no. And then along with that, he threw in three adjuncts that we had to throw into the beer.
What were those?
Um, Honey, tea, and orange peel. So along with the styles, you got to choose one of those three in a hat, all random. So the first beer that was released by my coworker Mike, he brewed an English style IPA with black tea called Spitfire. That is still out. It is definitely getting close to the end of its tap life, if you want to say. There's not much left, so definitely come as soon as you can to try out Spitfire. Last or 2 weeks ago, my coworker Richard, his team brewed a honey porter. So a porter is just
Yeah.
similar to a stout, but more robust, more chocolatey notes to it. Yeah, it was very flavorful as well. So,
I like the word robust.
yeah. So their beer is OBH from Austin Powers. Yeah. So he went through that whole. He stuck with the English trend.
I was about to
Um,
say
yeah, yeah. And they actually, his promo video was in, I forgot which movie, the one where he has the yellow security cart stuck in between the two walls. Yeah, and he's trying to
and going
maneuver it
like back
around.
and forth,
So
and it's like an ink.
yeah. So he took our yellow forklift and kind of recreated that scene. So it was a good promo for
Clever.
sure.
That's
Um,
clever. That's
yeah,
clever.
and then this weekend, barley wine or barley legal will be released, and that's obviously my beer, the last one of them. Uh, it's a 9.6%. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is up there in alcohol. Barley wines are traditionally 8 to 12. Um, you'll get a 12-ounce
Ooh.
pour of that. Yeah, so high in alcohol, you get a little bit of a smaller amount. And then yeah, it's you definitely taste that alcohol like you would a spirit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Little warm in your chest. You definitely get that. Notes of orange peel. That was my adjunct that I had to throw in. So a little bit of
Okay.
bittering orange peel went in towards the end of the brewing process, to get a note of that. You'll get some other fruity flavors to it. I get a cherry flavor,
Nice.
but you get some toffee, caramel notes that you would get from a English style barley wine.
Some
So
of the nuttiness, some of
yeah,
the tang, some of the sweetness. Got a little bit of everything.
yeah,
It tastes good.
yeah. So very excited for sure. Yeah.
Nice. And so tell us about you mentioned, Jay's going to be the judge. How does that process kind of take place? Like, does he drink them all and then like he makes a decision and he decides the winner kind of thing? Or is it kind of based on I think I remember from like last year, it had something to do with sales too, right?
So there is a little bit of a difference with this year's competition. Last year was a little bit of a smaller panel. Jay, along with our supply chain manager Mark, and Mike. He's the head brewer at Old Ox. So those three will be on the panel again. Erica, our QA QC. Uh, um,
Represent,
QAQC person, I should say.
right,
Sorry.
represent.
She's been with us for a while now, and she is now on the panel. She was on a team last year, actually the winning team. So yeah, she will have a say in who wins this year, and I think he might have a couple other people from a couple other breweries, but definitely those guys for sure, and girl.
Keep it fair, QA.
And
Keep it fair.
no. So yeah. So as far as judging, yeah, they just yes, they will try all of them at the same time. And they just they will taste and see whether it's true to style. A bunch of different factors that goes into judging criteria. They usually just follow the Brewers Association judging criteria. It's like I said, usually from what you would normally submit in any sort of competition. Um, and obviously, since they're not part of a team, it's all unbiased. And then so no sales this year. It's just strictly the judging panel.
Oh,
Sales last year was just strictly for a tiebreaker. So there is no information on what the tiebreaker will be, but I do not think that there will be one this year. So
okay.
we'll be I'm confident for sure. Our team did a great job, and like I said, hopefully I get that trophy this year. So
Absolutely, bring home some hardware. Two questions that kind of come to mind. One more related to something you said earlier, but two. How many people are like when you say teams? How many people are on like your team and like the competitions teams?
There's about 6 to 8 people per team.
Oh wow,
and that's all. So like I said, we try to utilize everyone in the company.
That's cool.
Like I said, from our social media person to Ike and Julie, our owners, to our taproom staff. So it's whoever wants to join. Anyone, events operations, accountants, anybody that wants to, because that's the best thing about brewing too, is they're just because they're not back there making the beer doesn't mean that they have a great insight. It's always good to ask for people's insight no matter where they are in the company. So they still, I mean, they're I know people that have a huge background in not just beer but other alcohol. So it is always good to get that input and everything like that. So cool. Like I said, as far as the details and everything that went into the competition was a little bit different than last year, just because we already knew our style. We already knew what we were kind of going to brew. So the recipe formulation was kind of already there for us.
Sure.
And then so
cool.
So,
and then I guess I don't want to dive into too much brewer stuff because little teasers for everyone to this. We're gonna try and have your boss and the judge Jay come on the show, talk a little bit more about beer making, brewery, the whole process of the business, things like that. But you had mentioned in the beginning, I'm curious about this. You had mentioned in the beginning, Old Busted was fortunate enough to have two tanks, so to speak, two brewing tanks, like
two systems. Two brewing systems. Yep.
Is that not like normal for, let's say, like a brewery the size of like Old Busted? I'm sure people like Anheuser-Busch and those guys have but like, is when you say fortunate, is it because like that's not something like a regular brewery or like someone may have?
Yes and no. I mean, I haven't been to enough breweries to really see who fortunate enough just because of how big we are for capacity. And Ike and Julie and how successful they've been. We had the money to purchase a smaller system. Big breweries, they usually have like I went to Sierra Nevada over a couple weeks ago in Asheville, and they have a 200 barrel system. That's what they normally brew, and then they have 2 pilot systems, a 7 barrel system, or 7 to 10 barrel system from what it looked like, and a 20 barrel system. So most breweries brew on like a 7 barrel system. That's their whole production. So like I said, and most breweries you go to, their size can fluctuate. Most breweries don't have a 30 barrel system. Most of them are lower in numbers. So especially and like breweries around us for sure. But it's just nice having both of those systems, just because we can stick to our larger our core beers and beers that we distribute that we need to make large amounts of on that bigger system. And then the little system we can really have a lot of fun with, just because you're not going to try to make an experimental beer on that big of a system because it costs so much. you're not
Right.
going to get that return back, right? So,
Right.
yeah, so it's nice having that luxury
Yeah.
to play with. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we with Old Busted with a 30 barrel system, we have two 120 barrel fermenters, two 90 barrel fermenters, three bright tanks, 190, 160, and one 120, and we
Okay.
have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, or nine or eight, excuse me, eight 60 barrel fermenters. So we have a lot of capacity to brew
Yeah.
beer. And then along with the 7 barrel system, we have five 7 barrel fermenters. So we, like I said, we just have the capacity to do it. Yeah.
That's really
So
cool.
yeah. It
That
definitely
makes
keeps you busy. Yeah.
I would say so. And I like I said, I don't want to take too much of it.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
like I said, that's a good teaser for those who are listening.
We're
That's a good
gonna
teaser for Jay's
tune in
episode
next
for
time.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
get all into that nitty gritty too, because I have a million things that just ran through my mind when you were going through the fermentating, like the fermentations and things.
Mm-hmm.
So, that I before I say my little spiel, is there anything else about the contest or the promo you want to share with everyone, or anything else about this one that maybe you're a little bit more excited about, or any last words for the promo itself?
No, I mean, it's always exciting to brew something like this. Is the second recipe that is truly mine, if you want to say. So it's always nice to have something that's yours. So that's why it's fun doing these competitions, because it's something that you came up with, and also you reap the benefits with your team. So that's the best thing about brewing as a team, is it's not just yourself. Yes,
Yeah.
I created the recipe, but everybody had some sort of part that had to do with the beer. So yeah, no, it's just going to be releasing this weekend, and it'll be on tap until it kicks. So
That's
along with
awesome.
the other two beers. So yeah, it's just mainly trying to get everyone to come out Old Busted. And I know we've been posting about the other two beers. And if you haven't seen them, please check any social media, mainly Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And we do a bunch of other promos there as well. But yeah, food trucks will be there. So it's just it's
That'd be
not
cool.
just your ordinary beer release. It does have some more meaning to it, I should say, just because it's a competition. But
Yeah.
yeah, for anyone who's in around the area, as well as anyone that hasn't been to Old Busted, please stop by. Yeah, we are
Yeah.
right off of 29. Yeah, close in between Warrenton and Gainesville. So,
Yeah, well, I know I'll be there. Me and the missus will
yeah.
be showing out for sure. Even though I'm excited, and again, even though like I'm your brother, I will want to support others. Like you said, since sales aren't really part of it, I guess I can buy the other people's beers and taste it.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
If Jay walks by or something, I'll be like, huh, nothing tastes as good as a barley legal though. This thing is off the charts. But no, that sounds awesome. I'm very excited. Everyone, go check out Old Bushead this weekend. Like I said, I'll be there. Everyone and their mother's going to be there. Go check out social media as well. I'm going to be posting about it too. I think it's awesome that you guys get to do this. And not a lot of companies function like a brewery, and then two, not a lot of companies do contests and promotions like this where it's good camaraderie. So that's really awesome that you guys
Right.
get to do that. And I'm very excited to try it. I'm very excited to get the word out there for sure. Everyone, go to Old Busted, go get some great beer and some great food, and go check it out. But before I let you go, is there anything else you want to chop up? You want to say anything? Maybe to me and my cacti?
No, appreciate you pushing the promo for us, and
Easily.
getting it out there.
No problem.
Yeah, no. Anytime you're there, I'll easily walk anyone around and show them around. So
Man, get the inside
I'm there
scoop.
for sure. So yeah,
You get the
yeah.
background. You
But
get behind. You can see how the sausage is made. I personally, I've seen it a few times. It is every time I've been back there. Just you should. I learned something. I learned something new. I'm always infatuated with everything that's in there, and then again, it really kind of puts it into perspective. Everything that actually goes into making beer, and you
right.
don't realize actually how much goes into it. And very excited for this weekend. Very excited to give it a taste, give it a shot. Everyone, go check out the beers this weekend at Old Busted. You're going to see me promoting the heck out of this on the show the next couple of days. I'm very excited to do it. And thank you so much for joining. Always glad to have you on. Always happy to, share the word, spread the word. And thank you so much for sharing what you do and sharing this with us. I think everyone's going to be excited to check it out and, go visit.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on there. And yeah, thank you.
Boogity woogie, no problem. With that, we will head out to the outro. Everyone is lucky because this is we'll see how it goes. This is the first week where we've done 2 episodes in a week, so y'all are lucky. Don't forget, also, last little plug, don't forget to check out Sneakerhead Golf, Joe15, use the promo code. They've got some great stuff. I can't wait to show everyone on the show, but with that, we'll head to the outro. Thanks so much, Ant.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.